we've got Boo's eggsoup versus UC physeK in this final losers quarters match. Before, why is this updating? There we go. Before we move on to loser semis. But before loser semis, we'll have a raffle. So we'll have our community color code raffle after eggsoup versus physeK. EXO making sure that he makes it super confusing for everybody.
Three, two, one, brawl!
Right, so right into the game, physeK versus eggsoup. Eggsoup, hyper aggressive player, and physeK, a hyper defensive player. This should be a very polarizing matchup to watch.
Yeah, eggsoup holding on to the spear, immediately going in. That hyper aggression you're telling me is already happening. physeK punishes with a down air, but eggsoup's chasing physeK around the map, making sure he doesn't get a weapon. Instead of denying it, he's just hounding him, the down lane to side air, making sure that every time physeK tries to get back on the stage, he pushes him off. There's the neutral light into the neutral signature. Eggsoup tosses the spear up into his face, goes for that recovery. Doesn't quite work out. physeK going for that down light to be able to punish something. Doesn't work out. eggsoup goes for a down sig into a charged neutral signature. physeK charges a down sig. Both players just throwing out moves. Wow.
Oh my goodness. The gravity cancel side stick coming out of Egg. And you really see the hyper aggression I was talking about. eggsoup is probably the most aggressive player in the game. I'd probably say so.
From what I've seen in regards to his movement, yes, I would have to agree. It's almost ungodly aggressive, to the point where it looks like he's making incredibly stupid decisions sometimes. But either way, eggsoup going in with the sword, uses that neutral sig just to throw it out. It almost seems as though like every movement he makes has to be followed by some kind of attack input.
Yeah, it's like if eggsoup... It's like eggsoup has anxiety, and the only way he can relieve it is by using a light attack. That's what it feels like I'm watching.
Yeah, Katara gets thrown to his face, holds onto the sword, just dancing around in the air, waiting to land. Goes for these down airs, trying to do whatever he can to physeK stock. Keeping in mind that eggsoup still has a solid stock lead over physeK now, despite being Hattori and despite being in the red. Ooh, physeK goes for that side sig punish. Yeah, you definitely can't do that, eggsoup. eggsoup was going for a read, but what he's forgotten is that physeK is a very patient player who does not mind standing still, waiting for you to throw out something and punishing you with a signature of his own. Exactly what he did.
physeK is just trying desperately to slow the game down, and he's really getting what he wanted.
Yeah,
really cool.
eggsoup is actually into the orange. The ground pound sends him below the stage. physeK picks up guitars that are in the air, but eggsoup able to use that weapon toss to get some damage on the physeK. But this is not looking nearly as one-sided as it was before. Excellent from eggsoup, but still 2 stocks to 2. physeK still holding onto his stock. He's trying desperately to. Oh, what the heck was that? A pivot gravity cancel down sig from.
Yeah.
eggsoup completely destroying physeK on the side of the map. Holding onto the spear now, using these neutralites to be able to box him up. That is the most interesting way to be able to execute physeK that I've ever seen. Goes that sidelight into neutral signature, sends him flying above the map.
Wow.
And that's it. eggsoup turns it around immediately.
10 seconds. Maybe a little more than 10 seconds, but
geez. It was a short stock considering the fact that physeK's on Sentinel of all things. I see Sentinel. physeK's actually not hovering Sentinel right now. There it is, but eggsoup says Kings and Twilight. physeK says to play Mammoth, and they're ready to go into the next match immediately.
Impressive stuff from eggsoup. You saw how like eggsoup in the middle of the game lost his momentum, and physeK managed to slow the game down.
And then he got it back.
Again.
Yeah, and he did not lose it.
Seconds.
physeK finds the first weapon. eggsoup calls in the horn. It's the spear, and immediately does a down air right afterwards from picking it up. That was excellent. I guess it didn't matter what weapon he had. The down air was going to come out regardless. But there's a weapon toss into the ground pound. Weapon toss to a sidelight. Goes to the weapon toss once more. Goes to the ground pound to be able to cover physeK jumping up the recovery, and it actually interrupts him. Excellent option coverage from eggsoup there, and the side air to be able to send physeK off the side of the stage. There's the hammer. eggsoup maneuvers around it. Already brought physeK into the orange. Holds onto the mine. And gets hit by that hammer. physeK going over that down. It doesn't quite work out. The mine placement actually being quite great there. eggsoup recovering high with his recovery and holding onto the sword. Goes for that down signature. physeK struggling to get any kind of combo in. There's the side light to be able to send physeK off the side of the map. Goes to the ground pound. physeK recovers high. There's the recovery. physeK now in the red. Still hasn't lost that stock. But wow, that signature actually ends up connecting.
Wow, yeah, like eggsoup plays so fast that you can't really even play by play it. Like this guy is playing so hyper aggressive like all the time. You see, the only time he really lets off is as a mix-up.
Yeah.
So you see, most players, like, they play more of a middle ground, and their mix-ups are more, they're different. But, like, with eggsoup, he just... Great mind throw by eggsoup. But with eggsoup, he just constantly aggresses you, and every now and again, he'll stop being aggressive, and it completely breaks your mind when he's not being aggressive, and he uses that as a mix-up.
I almost
so
feel
cool
like, the halts in his aggression are brought upon by the knockback from his moves being too much for him to follow up.
Yeah.
Like that's almost how it feels. And physeK being into the orange gets hit by another sidelight. Wow, the slide charge haymaker doesn't connect, holds onto the mine. I would be scared for physeK if I was at that mine right now. Toss the mine up, doesn't connect. The spear ends up hitting physeK, and he goes for the haymaker to read him for dodging low. There's another safe side sig from physeK.
Wow, he went for the weapon throw to neutral sig unarmed, but it whiffs. Ends up paying the price. But eggsoup's doing really good right now.
physeK tosses the hammer into the air, tosses into eggsoup's face, tries to get some damage in. eggsoup has the sword himself. I think he wants to go for the spear right now, however. physeK's just juggling these hammers, waiting, slowing down the game. physeK finally finds a weapon, or eggsoup finally finds a weapon, however, and hits him with that side air. Ooh, that side air, the weapon toss. He almost followed up with another side air. That would have been insane, carrying him across the map in the red. Goes for the GC disco, doesn't quite connect, and physeK goes for a gravy cancel down sig of his own. There's the neutral light into the recovery, brings him into the yellow. eggsoup trying to end the stock with a recovery unarmed, doesn't quite work. physeK interrupts that recovery with a guitar throw. He's actually playing quite fast himself. Goes for a side air, doesn't work out, and eggsoup gets that downlight side air to end the stock. In the orange, though, however, physeK has an opportunity to even this up 1-1.
Wow. Very impressive play. So one of the things with physeK is a lot of people get frustrated with just how slow he plays. And you saw we saw a little bit of Salt earlier on in the tournament against physeK when he won.
Against Chuka,
it's just very common, right?
Yeah.
When you're against a passive player to get frustrated. But you can see eggsoup. It's like physeK isn't even a passive player because eggsoup's constantly in his face. And how can you be passive when there's a sword in your face?
Yeah,
like,
constantly. In fact, I'm almost seeing physeK being forced to play a little bit faster himself, just with the options that he has to take.
Yeah.
But there was the KO off the side of the map with that side air.
You see, eggsoup is actually just completely breaking down physeK's defense, and so physeK has to completely change his playstyle. But what's even more surprising is that he's actually doing it. He's managing to play at this faster pace. Even though it's not what he's accustomed to, he's still doing really good. He's staying even with eggsoup.
That weapon toss nearly put him in a position to get punched, but the neutral air, oh gosh, eggsoup off stage against the guitars. He's losing out of his jump. The spike ball, physeK's got an insane combo going off with these weapon tosses right now. eggsoup pulls onto the mine. physeK dodges inwards, hits him with the neutral air. eggsoup can't find a weapon. He's littering the map with bombs. There's a bomb that lands into physeK's face. A weapon toss. No! Oh god, physeK goes beneath the map. That's terrifying. A ground pound. eggsoup's making this way closer than he needs to be. Trying to be flashy. Hits the recovery. Going for these down heavies. Goes for the haymaker. He's trying to end it unarmed, I feel like. Goes for that ground pound with the sword. Doesn't quite work out. Sentinel with the hammer. Hits out 2 side airs in a row. Doesn't quite connect. eggsoup trying to hit with the spike ball. Sends it high. Another one connects. eggsoup just launching spike ball after spike ball.
This game is so close.
There's the scoop. He sends him off the top, hits him with the cider. eggsoup's very low, goes to the ground pound, and so is safe. Goes for that downer. The weapon toss doesn't connect. He's too afraid to go for a follow-up. The cider hits him. That's the stock.
Player one.
Wow.
What just happened? eggsoup. Weapons didn't spawn. I don't know. He couldn't find anything. Either way, eggsoup complaining about weird frame lag, but physeK's actually able to take game 2 off of eggsoup, and we're going on to a game 3. eggsoup saying, "Can I restart? Weird frame lag."
I mean,
wow.
When eggsoup started putting the pressure on physeK like that, the last thing I expected was for physeK to actually fight back, like to actually pick his pace up to match eggsoup and actually take the win. That's just not something I would ever expect out of physeK, but he did it, and he won.
He was able to do it. It came from that weapon toss momentum, but he was actually able to match eggsoup's aggression.
Very incredible stuff from both players. Let's see if eggsoup can take control of the game like he did in game 1, in the beginning of game 2.
3, 2, 1, brawl!
Here we go.
Both players coming into Thunderguard now.
Game 3, both players sticking to the legends as well. eggsoup finds the first weapon. physeK gets unarmed. However, eggsoup tries to down air him into the bomb, and physeK ends up canceling that bomb with a bomb of his own. And he's yet to find a weapon, but he doesn't quite care. These down airs are landing. He finds a hammer.
Oh wow. Down air to neutral air, into a side air. There's so much stuff coming out of eggsoup's sword.
physeK holds onto the hammer, hits him with that recovery, sends him below the stage, but eggsoup charges a down sig that connects. Very interesting usage of that down signature. Goes for that side light into a ground pound. Read physeK going low, but physeK hits him with a down sig of his own and a gravy cancel down sig to try to end the stock. Doesn't quite connect, but eggsoup finds himself on even grounds against physeK Sentinel. There's the downlight cider to send him flying, but his defense is quite high, keeps him up for a little bit, but that cider should end it.
Yeah.
And he ends up losing his first stock.
Still a pretty close game. Eggsoup's in deep orange already. Block can kill right now. Ground pound, for example.
physeK dodges forward, tries to fake out going for that weapon. eggsoup covers with the side light, but doesn't get punished. physeK finally finds the guitars, hits him with a side light of his own, sends him off the map, but eggsoup drops his weapon, calls in the horn, goes for the down air. physeK still can't end the stock. There's the cider. Will you be able to find another one to be able to end it and even up 2-2? Ooh, goes for that pivot cider. It's pretty cool, but doesn't quite connect. eggsoup hits him with that downlight down. Oh, ground pound regardless. And there's the cider to end it.
Anybody else in deep red against a fresh stock is gonna play a little bit slower. They're gonna try to grind out a little bit of damage before they lose their stock. But eggsoup
plays it like he's
keep
fresh.
being aggressive.
Yeah, doesn't change his playstyle at all. Doesn't matter what color his stock is. As long as he's got his stock, he is playing the game. And there's the ground pound to end it, making a solid one stock lead over physeK, taking advantage of that shenanigans zone in the center to kill him with a ground pound. physeK goes in with a few dares of his own, unarmed. Ooh,
The gravity cancel downlight that comes out faster. Like, who does that?
Ooh, two D-lights in a row into a ground pound. Sends him into the orange, but physeK answers with a combo of his own. Goes for a side sig, and eggsoup interrupts the down air. eggsoup being unrelenting with the pressure. physeK goes for that gravity cancel side signature and hits him with a side air, but he's in the red. The weapon toss interrupts eggsoup's aggression, but only stops the inevitable. Goes for the weapon toss side sig, doesn't quite connect. eggsoup goes for a ground pound. To get below the stage, goes for that disco. I almost feel like that's a misinput, and both players are just going for ground pounds in the center. Not even aiming at each other. eggsoup's going for the flashy kill. He wants to kill him with that unarmed down heavy. I believe in you, eggsoup. Just don't give up the game. There's the side air. Will that be the stock? Nope. physeK misspaces that ground pound and gets hit by a weapon toss. There's the mine! Wow, that mine was lobbed up right next to physeK's head! That was so close to connecting. He really wants to try to do something fancy here. I don't think he wants these weapons. Tosses the spear into his face, another weapon toss, goes for the recovery, kills him off the top, nice and simple.